Welcome to Impact Unleashed, the nonprofit edition, where we dive deep into the untapped potential of nonprofits and their remarkable ability to create a lasting impact. I'm your host, Sarah Mayer. Let's dive in. So I'm so excited to have you here on today's episode, where we are going to talk about nurturing nonprofit connections, and we'll explore all the roles and relationships that nonprofits have. So first off, nonprofits have many stakeholders, and you may be serving in a role that I mention, or maybe I don't mention. But I think it's important to explore all the different stakeholders. So let's start off with our founders. I have had the privilege of founding several nonprofit organizations, and I can tell you it's truly inspiring. It's one of the greatest things that you can do to align your personal desire and your impact with others. But it is also challenging. I also have had the privilege of working with many founders as they start on their journey towards making a bigger impact and founding their nonprofit. And founders truly are motivators, and they identify a problem and set out to make change with a vision that aligns with their goals. And so many nonprofit founders start off with a passion, or they find a problem they want to fix, and they go about the difficult process of forming the nonprofit and doing all the paperwork that is required. Now, our founders may be around in the nonprofits we serve, or they may no longer be around. But at some point, somebody took the action to decide to create that organization and bring it forward. And it's really cool because our founders lay the groundwork for what the future is to be. And hopefully, they lead with that purpose. And at that point in time in the nonprofit, they decided other roles that would be involved in other people. So many nonprofits have a board, all nonprofits have a board of directors, and many nonprofits have officers within the board of directors. And those officers are responsible for the fiduciary responsibility of the nonprofit, setting the direction and the course. And we will dive into different board formats and how they will work, but the officers really lead that charge. And oftentimes, as an officer, or if you're serving as a board member, you have an incredible passion for the organization. And your role really is to guide and give, to create connections so that others can be involved. And so it's about governing for the good. And one of the ways that board members govern are by ensuring that their duties are met. They make decisions for the organization, and they look to the future to ensure the longevity of the board. And they do have a vital role in that strategic direction. Now, some boards are just getting started. You're small, you may be involved in a smaller nonprofit, and so you may be a working board where you do more than strategy. But in general, board members are responsible for governing for good and also empowering through giving. One of the things that the board does is examine the philanthropic goals of the organization and make some type of impact through support of the organization. And this is an empowering way to get others to support the organization. I love the role of a board member because it truly is a way to create that or continue that legacy from a founder and to perpetuate the organization into the future by keeping their eye on the mission. Many organizations have volunteers or members fueled by passion And those members really are involved with the organization to help the organization carry out the work of the mission. And so it's critical that the board finds a way to ensure that members and volunteers do have a job to do, but also feel appreciated and have a role in fulfilling the mission. Because it's the mission that drives the effort, and that is what will drive positive change. Now, if you're in an organization and you're a member, or maybe you're involved as a nonprofit as a volunteer, there is a little difference between members and volunteers. And so the role of members in membership based organization is really to reap the benefit of the nonprofit, to engage in those opportunities, and to create that community through membership. Whereas volunteers carry out the mission, many time members are receiving the mission. And as many things can happen through the power of partnerships, and nonprofits are funded by supporters and partners. And nonprofit partners could be a donor who goes forward and makes a donation either in cash, or they make that donation in future endeavors. But it also could be a partner that amplifies the impact, addresses complex challenges, and has a furthered shared mission. So many times we think of partners as donors, but it is so much broader than that when we're trying to pull out the mission of nonprofits. And they truly are partnering for progress, but they are the heartbeat of support. So they may advocate as an ambassador, they may decide to donate funds in order to highlight the power of change and provide support for the mission. And I think it's important as you work with partners to identify their why. Why are they coming forward to support the organization? Why are they coming forward to ensure that this problem is solved? Why do they think that this is a cause worthy of support? There are a lot of key players when you work with a nonprofit, and it's important to connect the dots. So, there are a couple of things that you can do as a board member, a volunteer, a member, whatever seat you have in the organization. It's important to emphasize how connected everyone is. And you can do that in whatever role you're in. Because when everyone is working together towards that mission, it will allow the nonprofit to perpetuate forward. So there's a couple ways that you can do this, especially when you have so many stakeholders. You can engage experts to evolve the landscape of your nonprofit, to define the roles. You can build relationships with the key stakeholders and identify what makes sense for them to own for the mission. And it's important in these partnerships that they all have a specific area of responsibility that is defined and explored. And the board ultimately oversees the strategy so that it is aligned with the strategy. So, if you're curious about how you might get involved with a nonprofit, or you're listening to this and thinking, I might be interested in a board position, or I might be interested in an officer position, or I might be interested in a volunteer position, that is a great way to get started by exploring what the nonprofit does. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that many nonprofits do get to the point where they can hire professional staff or teams to run the organization that are paid. And that also might be a great way to get involved with a nonprofit by connecting with a staff member to determine what might be the best fit for you. Nonprofit work is not easy. It is challenging, and many of the world's problems that we're trying to solve are seemingly impossible. But when board members, founders, officers, volunteers, and donors all align in a mission and move the mission forward one step at a time, that is what creates the power and unleashes the untapped potential of nonprofits. Now, I know you may be listening to this and you already have a nonprofit and you're rocking and rolling. If you're looking for resources, tools, tips, consultant, or just other people who are trying to do the good work like you, please visit nonprofitimPactUnleashed.co. Again, nonprofitimPactUnleashed.co. And there you will find tips, tricks, resources, and all the things you need to run your nonprofit. It's time to unleash your impact so you are able to truly make a change in the world. So let's get to it. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Impact Unleashed, the nonprofit edition. I'm so excited you were here on this journey. If you haven't signed up for our newsletters and wonderful resources, please visit nonprofitimpactunleashed.co. Again, that's nonprofitimPactunleashed.co. I look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Impact Unleashed.